Hello, my name is XONEVANT. Today is Sunday, June the 15th, and this is your Daily Dose. So I figured I would talk about something that I think we all can relate to at some point in your gaming career, right? And that is that instance in time where you've done something miraculous with the video game, right? Maybe you've conquered a video game, you've completed a video game when you least expected to, right? Maybe you had been trying to play a game for months and months and months, and then you couldn't do anything with the game, and then all of a sudden you just hopped on and just crushed the game in half, right? Something like that. And my instance is actually my flu game. Now you're probably saying, well, what do you mean by flu game? Well, if you keep up with sports, Michael Jordan once had a flu game where he scored a ridiculous amount of points while he had the flu in the game and that sort of thing. So I was like, you know what, let me talk about my flu game. So I used to work at a daycare, and obviously daycares are notorious for passing along illnesses, you know, sicknesses, things of that nature, because you got all these kids, right? And they're all different kinds of, you know, they're all different ages, I should say. And it's very easy for, you know, if you work there, to get sick, right? So basically one time I ended up getting the flu and I couldn't go to work, and I ended up staying home. And I hated it, man. I hated being home. There was nothing to do. I mean, I had video games, but, you know, I was sick, right? So I was constantly in bed trying to get better and that sort of thing. And then one night, while I had this flu, I got bored, so bored out of my mind. I was like, you know what? I'm going to play a game. It doesn't matter that I can barely see right now because I got a headache and I've got the chills and all this kind of stuff. I'm playing a game. That's going to make me feel better. Doesn't matter that I'm sick, so let's get to it. So I ended up throwing in Ninja Gaiden 2, and if you've never played the Ninja Gaiden series back in the day, it was pretty tricky, pretty ridiculously tricky, and Ninja Gaiden 2 was a game that I had never been able to complete ever until this one day. And I remember going through the entire game, and it was like butter, man. Like, I went through this game as if I were a pro gamer, like as if I had been through it 1,000 times with no issues. And granted, like I said, until this particular time, I had never been able to get through the game. I had been pretty much to the end of the game, but the boss fights always ended up getting me near the end, the last couple of boss fights. And then I just flew right through this game, man, headache and all. I remember I had the chills and all that kind of stuff, and just absolutely dominated this game. And I remember getting in contact with VGM Professor. You guys have heard me talk about him before on the channel. And I remember calling him on the phone when I took this game down. He and I both had a little collection going on there. We had both started collecting about the same time, and we had a ton of games and that sort of stuff. And that was like the game that neither one of us could really get through. And I don't know if he had been through the game or not at that particular time, but I remember calling him up, going, "Man, I just crushed this game over my knee, son." And I beasted on this particular game while I had the flu, and I thought that was a pretty cool story. I find this happens a lot sometimes too, where, you know, where I'll start a game and I'll play it through, and, you know, you kind of hit that wall sometimes where you just can't get past that particular point in the game anymore. And then the next thing you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, you just put it in one random day. You're not even thinking about it. You know, maybe you're just killing time, you know, waiting for somebody to come over or waiting to leave the house or something like that. You just throw in the game for just a second and you just dominate it, right? Another example of that for me is not really the flu, but it was actually Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins was a game that was giving me problems at one point, and actually 2 summers ago, one of my roommates was actually playing it, because I have a little setup in the living room there where we all kind of play retro games and stuff. And I came into the house one day, and he was playing it, and he was having trouble getting past, I think, level 3 or 2 or something like that. And I literally just sat down, hadn't played this game in years, sat down and just dominated this game. I played for a good, you know, 2 or 3 hours and just beasted on the entire game, and ended up taking it down. So it's weird how that happens sometimes, right? A lot of times if you're having issues with a game, you can just stop playing it, come back to it later. Or in my instance, you know, I guess it just might take the magical flu for you to be able to take it down. So I thought I would share that with you guys. I'm sure you have a moment in your life where you've had an issue with a game, or you couldn't go through it, and then some random occurrence, you were able to just, you know, plow through the game and dominate it. So if you'd like to share that with me in the comments below, do so, and I will see you guys right back here tomorrow.